YouTube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and it's time for me to do a tag video. This is the end of the year book tag created by Ariel Bassett. If I remember, which I probably won't, because last time I filmed a tag video, I said I would. I am aware that I said I would post a link to the tag, and I totally forgot. But I don't know if it still exists or not, because I know that Ariel Bassett is now doing mostly videos on the renovation of her new house. And she's the closest to book related content is she has started a bookmobile business, and I think she has talked about done videos where she's talked about what she's been reading recently. But I think, which by the way, I think it's really cool that she's doing this. I'm a big HGTV fan, so I like watching her renovations and like painting rooms and redoing like refurbishing furniture and redoing like the faucets and the shower and all that cool stuff. And I also think it's impressive that she has a bookmobile business now. I wish I think it'd be cool if we had one around here. I mean, there are plenty of bookstores around here, so I guess they don't really need one, but I think the whole bookmobile business is really cool. But anyway, so I don't know if the tag, you can get access to her book related content right now, but anyway, she's the one who created this tag for you guys. But it's a pretty old tag, so maybe it's not a big, like, just telling you guys that she's the one who created this tag instead of sharing, like, maybe that's enough to let you guys know and to give her credit where credit's due. And I will put but I do need to get a copy of the questions probably, so, anyway, here are the questions. So question number 1 is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? And as always, there's plenty of them. Like there's the Walt Disney biography, but that I've been reading for years, and that's a chunky book, so there's no way I'm gonna get it done by December. And there are other books that I've started that I'm probably not gonna get done by December either, by the end of December. And there are books that I have read this year that I have been reading for a long time. I finally finished them. Like the John Adams biography by David McCullough. I finally read that one and finished that one at the end, in October. I read most of it at the last week of October, but I did finish it on November 1st officially. So it is my October wrap up, but I will probably mention it in my November wrap up as well. So I try to stick to shorter books that I have a better chance of getting them done by the end of the year. But first we have a classic, and that is Passage to India by E.M. Forster. This I bought much earlier this year, and I did attempt to read it. Actually, I might have bought it sooner than this year. Maybe a couple years ago. But my intention was to read it this summer, but I never got to it. And I actually recently, not that long ago, I purchased another Ian Forster book, A Room with a View. And I have read one of his books that I cannot remember what it's called. So I want to read more Ian Forster. And so I'm hoping to read Passage to India before the end of the year. Okay, so then we have one that it's a 50-50 shot if I'm going to finish it or not by the end of the year, and that is The Silmarillion by Tolkien. This is basically, to me, this is like reading the Bible, the Middle-earth Bible. It's the origin story of Middle-earth and the origin of Sauron. I think it's what the Rings of Power series is based off of. Although that series is not doing well. People are not happy with that series. And I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not. I might watch it because, I love the Hobbit trilogy, but I know a lot of fans do not love it, and but I did do a video where I talked about how I do get why a lot of those fans are not happy with it. And I understand the reasoning, but I happen to still enjoy the movie, and I think I'm allowed to enjoy that movie, even as a fan of Tolkien and his work. Um, so I have not finished this book, so I can't really judge the Silmarillion either. I mean, as someone who has not completely read the this book that I think it's based off of. But yeah, I've read some of it already. It's slow, and like I said, it's an origin story. So, and you know, there's it's a lot of names and stuff like that. That was and of course I was reading it during a time when there's a lot of distractions around me. So I need to read it when everything is quiet and I don't have any distractions. But yes, so that is the Silmarillion by Tolkien. And then the last one is one that I intended to read for autumn, but I don't know if that will happen, and that is Kazuo Ishiguro's The Unconsoled. Now, I've heard the most about are The Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go, which I have read, and I did like it. It was good. I got it from the library. But I'm not ashamed to admit that I was a little confused by the reveal. I didn't understand the big twist at the end. It was very confusing, and I don't remember it because it's been a long time since I read it, so I couldn't really tell you. I just remember being very confused and very bewildered by what just happened and not understanding what just happened. I don't even know really what happened and what was revealed. I did not understand it, but I still liked the story overall. And I have not read Remains of the Day. I do have an adaptation of it that I have not watched because I want to read the book first. But I don't have the book. But I have never heard anyone talk about this. And there's two booktubers I follow, Caroline Marie Reeds and Emmy, who love Kazuo Ishiguro. And they're big fans, and they talk about Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go a lot. And I saw this one and I got really excited because it's one I have not heard of. And as much as I appreciate BookTube's recommendations, and I love reading books that BookTube has talked about, BookTubers talk about, and to how much they love the book, and I really appreciate that and I enjoy that. But sometimes every so often I want to read a book that I haven't heard about on BookTube. And even though I have heard of this author is known on BookTube, I don't know anyone who's read this particular one. Or at least they haven't talked about it if they read it. So because of that, I want to read it and discover it on my own. And I feel like once you hear people on BookTube talk about it, and which maybe is why there are some books where people say, oh, it's better to go in blind and not know anything about it. And, maybe that's kind of the same thing here. Well, I want to go in this without knowing anything about it. I want to discover the story on my own without any booktuber's influence, without any booktuber talking about gushing about it or talking about how much they hate it. I just want to love it on my own. I want it to be like my Kazuo Ishiguro book. And I have enjoyed it very much, and I am definitely intrigued, want to know what's going on, what the deal is with the main character. And because there is a sense of mystery and intrigue to the story, and there's definitely some oddness about the situation and the plot that I'm looking forward to figuring out, and I want to discover that on my own. So I want to try to get to this before all of a sudden someone like Caroline or Emmy or anyone else that is a fan of Kazuo Ishiguro reads it and then starts talking about it. Or I don't want to stumble on a video that someone did years ago. So I'm not going to look for any reviews of this book until I've read it and then I render my review. So that is The Unconsoled. Okay, so finally got past the first question. I filmed this 3 times already, and one of the times was more because I just didn't like what I said and how I got off topic. And then the other time I got interrupted because my mom made some lunch. Okay, so question number 2. Do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? And originally I said The Overstory by Richard Powers. And I do want to read this in the autumn. I think, with the tree sign, I feel like this could either be a spring book or an autumn book. and I still want to read it, and I still feel like it would be a good book to read right now. But I also was thinking it is long, and I don't know if I will finish it by the end of the year. I mean, a lot of these answers are books that there's no guarantee I'll finish them. That's why I debate back and forth if I want to do this tag. But I did start it and read the first quote unquote chapter because it's not traditional chapters. But I don't know if I'll finish it. So I also decided to throw in another book that I would like to read, and that is before the end of the year, transitioning into the end of the year, and that is The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly, which I went to BAM yesterday. I tried to look for the sequel to this because he wrote another sequel. But I didn't see it there. I saw some other John Connolly books, but not the sequel to this one. So that one might be on my Amazon wish list. But this is basically this lonely boy. I think his mom died, and he discovers a fantasy world, like his imagination and this world kind of bleed together or something. So I've been wanting to read it, and I intend to read it in October, but I didn't get to it. So yeah, I think this also would be a great transition read. So these are my 2 transition reads, which, yeah, I was originally intending just to give one answer, but, you know, I was looking at this while setting up to film for you guys, and was thinking, no, I might want to read this one, as this one might also be a good transition book. Okay, so question number 3. Is there a new release you are still waiting for? And the answer is no. I mean, there are new releases that I want to read, but I probably won't read them when they come out. And then there's some of them that I still haven't read. Like I haven't read, although I guess that might not be a new release anymore, but the last book in the sequel series to the second Caraval series. I haven't read the sequel, the third and final book, because I haven't gone to the library yet. It's hard to pick a moment to go to the library because I have so many owned books that I want to buy, and I'm always buying books, which maybe that's why my mom thinks I'm addicted. So it's like, you know, trying to find a good opportunity, because I know as soon as I go to the library, I will prioritize the library books over my own books, and I want to whittle those down a little bit, and I never do. So I haven't got to those. And there's one other book that I want to get from the library that I haven't because of that reason. And then there's like I'm behind on the Stormlight Archives. I haven't read book 2 yet. You know, so I do not read new releases. Like I wait a few years until they've been out. At least wait until they come out on paperback. But they're, you know, like, you know, Homecoming, which just came out a couple years ago, and I finally bought it, and partly because I was waiting for it on paperback, and my other Kate Warren books I have on paperback, so I'm trying to stick to that. But that's what also happened to The Clockmaker's Daughter. It was years before I finally bought it and read it, and I did love it. I did enjoy it. I enjoy every one of Kate Warren's books, but I haven't even read Homecoming yet by her. So yeah, I don't really have one. I mean, I'm sure there are new releases that I would love to read that are coming out that still haven't come out or just came out. But I'm not going to give you guys an answer because there's not one. I'm probably not going to buy it and read it. You know, I'm going to wait. And I haven't been to the library, so I'm not going to even get it from the library. So I'm not going to give you guys an answer for that one. Okay, so question number 4. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And this one, at least, I stuck to 3 books. Okay, so where's that pile at? Oh, here it is. So first we have The Secrets of Heartwood Hall by Katie Lumsden. I finally bought this one. I mean, and what kind of reminded me that I need to get it was actually her new book, The Troubled Miss Montgomery Hurst, which I guess, you know what, that will be my answer for That's gonna be my answer for the previous question, which is The Trouble with Miss Montgomery Hurst by Katie Lumsden. Yep, that's perfect because it is a new release, and I'm hoping to get it for Christmas, but I don't know if I will or not because I kept asking for this one, but then it got moved down to the list because they kept adding other books on there. So I finally had to buy this one myself, and it was because that one, The Trouble with Miss Montgomery Hurst, came out, so I was like, oh, I need to buy her other book. So yeah, I want to read this one before the end of the year, and I guess it could be a winter read. I was gonna read it in the autumn, but I don't know if it'll happen or not. So, I mean, autumn's not over yet until closer to the end of the month. So, I want to read this one before the end of the year, and then we have another one that probably would have been perfect for autumn, but I didn't get around to it, which is Babel by R.F. Kuang. And I really enjoyed her Poppy War trilogy. I do want to read Yellowface by her. That one I might either get on audiobook or, if I ever... Oh, I think that was the other book I wanted to get from the library. But because I haven't, been motivated to go to the library, it hasn't happened yet. So I might get that one on audio. So I do use Libby, so that's technically library connected. But, it's also not usually my genre that my first go-to for genre. I mean, obviously you have seen books that are more contemporary stories that I'm reading. Like the last book I'm going to have on here, the third book I'm going to mention is more contemporary, but it's still a bit of a genre read. But contemporary stories aren't necessarily my favorite stories, or at least they're not my first pick. So, which is why I'm gonna, I'm thinking about borrowing that one, a Yellowface. So I might just see if it's on Libby yet. But that might be a while though, because it is a new book and I don't know how long it is before a book becomes an audiobook, if it does become an audiobook. But anyway, so I definitely need to get to this one because she already has another book out. And I think she's working on another one as we speak. Or it's going to come out soon. I do not remember. But I think I remember hearing that she has another one she's working on. But this deals with colonialism and translating works from other countries into English. And it's a fantasy book, but although the magic system isn't as heavy as the magic system in Poppy War, where they were literally being possessed by gods. But yeah, I've been meaning to get this, and as you can see, it's perfect for autumn because it's dealing with academia. And a lot of the big thing now is dark academia. But I'm gonna get to it this winter, I guess. And the last one is one that is the contemporary book I mentioned. I don't know if I will get to it, but I feel like I should at least try and put it on this list, the potentials, and that is The Emperor of Ocean Park. It's a bit of a thriller mystery type story about, this guy who's this wealthy black family, and the family patriarch is a judge. He gets murdered. And so his children are trying to figure out who is the murderer. And one of the children has a suspect who she thinks did it, who she believes in her heart who did it. And our main character, our narrator, Talcott, is trying to figure out if she's right or if it was someone else. And so far, I found it very intriguing. I really like it. I like the writing, and I was very intrigued with the story, and I just put it down for a while, and because I wanted to do Victober and spookier reads. So, although this is a different kind of spookiness, because it is about someone getting murdered, and this character trying to figure out who did it, and then there's a possibility their life will be in danger, because the murderer might not want anyone to know that they did it. So yeah, I want to get to I want to at least try to read this one before the end of the year. Okay, so that is so that's the last one where I actually put down an answer. So question number 5, is there a book you think could still shock you? And I don't know. Maybe there is. I don't know. I mean, this one could still shock me. Could shock me. Like any of these books that I've just showed you for the previous question could potentially shock me. Um, some of these other books that I was hoping to read could still shock me. That I was hoping to read in November, but I don't know. So I didn't really give an answer for this because I genuinely don't know and don't have an option, an answer for it. Because I mean, any of them can potentially shock me. I am reading The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub, so maybe that could shock me. So yeah, I don't like answering that question because I feel like I can't really determine that. Okay, so the last one, question number 6, is have you started making reading plans? And I did make a video about my plans for 2025. I started talking about what my hopes for next year and the things I want to try to do next year that I keep saying I'm going to do, but then I never do them because, I come up with, I think what kind of throws me off is I get excited and want to create TBR, and then all of a sudden I'll be pulling all these books out that I'm like, oh, I need to read that one and that one. And so I keep making plans, but then I don't always follow through with them. I mean, some of them I attempt to follow through with them, but I have started making plans. And there's even things that I didn't talk about on that video that I'm also thinking about, I'm hoping to try to do next year, like start over with my Stephen King project. There was another thing, but now I forgot it. And so yeah, long story short, yes, they have started making reading plans. Because I like making plans. It's fun. It's just the actual following through with the plans that I'm not that great at. Anyway, so that is the end of the year book tag. If you want to, you could do this tag as well. This is kind of a fun way to sum up your reading. How your hopes are in the read, what you hope to read before the year ends. And I wonder if anyone's made a tag. I mean, it probably won't be anything special or anything new or too creative, but I wonder if anyone's made a tag. It's kind of more of a beginning of the year, of the new year, like a new year tag, where it's like you're talking about your hopes for this new year, but then maybe the answers are basically the same as this anyway. Like maybe it's not really anything that you haven't said in this tag, so maybe that's why no one's ever thought about doing a beginning of the year tag. But anyway, but I think it'd be really interesting to see if someone doing that. I mean, I could do that, but I don't know if I could be creative enough to come up with something that feels original and not basically a repeat of this one. But anyway, if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe if you haven't already, click the bell notification button below if you want to be notified about my latest videos. Like I said, consider yourself tagged if you want to do the end of the year book tag. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of fun, a fun way to sum up your reading for the year. And I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.